Hey guys, this is Matthew here from Commercial Deal Junkie, and today we're going to be going over the cost of filling vacant commercial space. You won't believe the amount of landlords that underestimate how much it costs to fill a commercial unit. Now, I'm talking a retail, industrial, I'm talking office, and even self-storage and things like that. It costs quite a bit of money to fill a commercial space, and the opportunity cost can be huge if you don't know these costs and are unwilling or unable to pay those costs. For those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Matthew Masoud. I'm a commercial real estate investor. I'm living in Southern California, but I buy commercial property long distance all over the country. So let's talk about filling vacant commercial space. So the vacancy cost is actually a lot more than lost rent. But let's start with what are the costs associated with a vacant space. Number one is obviously downtime. When you have vacant space, it takes time to fill it up. During that time, you're not collecting any rent. Number two is renovations and repairs. Even though in commercial leases, the tenant is responsible for the repairs and the maintenance on the interior of the unit, but when there is no tenant, you as the landlord are responsible for the repairs and renovations. And typically you need to do some kind of repairs and renovations before you're able to go out and lease that unit to another person. Number three is tenant improvements, or more commonly referred to TI, or tenant allowance, tenant improvement. These are costs that you pay the tenant in order to help them retrofit the space for their use. We'll go over that here in a moment. And then lastly is leasing commissions. Likely you're going to have a broker that's going to lease it out for you unless you're local and have a experience negotiating and showing space to potential tenants. So there's a lot of money involved when it comes to leasing it. There's a lot of money involved that's involved in not leasing it. So let's go over it. Number one, downtime. So every month that's vacant, you have money going out the door and you don't have money coming in. So you're not collecting rent. You're also paying the triple net reimbursements, the triple nets that the tenant should be paying on top of their base rent in a triple net lease. They should be paying it you're going to be paying that out of pocket. You carry, you're paying the taxes, the insurance, and the CAMs for that portion of the building. So you have lost revenue and you're paying additional expenses. On a 2,500 square foot example, at $20 a square foot in base rent, you should be collecting $50,000 a year plus triple net, that portion of their expenses. So the monthly potential rent is, 4,167. Now, I pulled up a random market that I'm in, Houston. I have a shopping center in Houston, and the average time to lease in Houston, the average time from listing a vacancy to filling that vacancy is 8 months. So that means just in base rent lost, you're going to lose $33,333 in the 8 months it takes you to fill that spot up. And that doesn't include the triple net that you're paying out of pocket as a landlord. So vacancies can get really expensive. Okay. Now, vacancies aren't completely outside of your control. You don't have to look at that 8 months and go like, oh, that's how long it takes to fill a space in Houston, so that's how long it's going to take. No. There's things you can do, and I have a whole video on this. I'll link to it up here in the top of the video somewhere where you can see what I'm referring to. I have a whole video on how to fill retail space faster and commercial space in general faster. But as a quick overview, you can make sure you have a competent broker, fire them if they're not good and not answering leads and not showing space, things like that. You can make sure the property is marketed accordingly. You can send out letters and make calls, call nearby tenants and see if they're interested in moving. Make sure you're pricing it correctly. Canvas, go out there. And if a space is taking too long to fill, I will fly out to the area with hundreds and hundreds of flyers, or pay someone local in the area to start handing out flyers to the surrounding businesses. Like if it's a good fit for a smoke shop, they'll walk to all the surrounding smoke shops and ask them if they're interested in relocating or expanding. So there are things that you can do in order to make sure you fill your properties faster than the 8 months. What we do is we see the average time to lease, back to the example, Houston 8 months, and we're like, okay, how can we fill 4 spots in 8 months? How can we fill a spot every 2 or 3 months rather than 8 months? And then we do that by taking action, because every month you fill a space faster is saving you thousands of dollars in holding costs and in missed revenue. So make sure you're being more proactive about leasing rather than just sitting back and waiting for a mediocre leasing broker to fill the space for you. The second cost is renovation and repairs. So even though commercial tenants handle their own repairs, but when there isn't a tenant, I can't tell you how many times when I used to work as a broker, I can't tell you how many times leasing brokers would give me a space to fill up and it is in awful shape. The electrical is completely gone, the ceiling tiles are totally ripped out, or there's been an active leak where the ceiling tiles all have stains on them, there's trash, and just a simple paint job and cleaning out all the trash can do wonders to a space. But even a step past that, mechanicals. If there is an HVAC system that doesn't work, chances are when you lease the space anyway, the tenant's going to require you to put in a new HVAC system. So why not do that on the front end? And even better, if you have a good broker, when they show the space, they'll show up 20 minutes earlier, turn the HVAC system on so that when the prospect shows up, the space is cool or warm, depending on the time of the year. That's a good leasing broker. So it's going to cost you money up front to clean the space up, but spending some money that you're probably going to have to spend anyway once you lease it to a tenant, it might be better to spend that money up front and be able to lease the space faster. So you're going to have to spend some money in repairs. A lot of it depends on, what kind of condition the previous tenant left it in. Hopefully they left it in a half decent shape. But in many cases, you're going to want to do some basic repairs, even as much as, painting, maybe clean it up, take out all the stuff that, the debris and all that stuff, and make sure the major mechanicals work. Just some low-hanging fruits that it becomes easier to lease. So the tenants used to handle it, but now you need to handle it. So once a space goes vacant, you need to walk it, check the HVAC unit, check for plumbing problems, check for damaged restrooms, electrical issues, broken doors, or just in general deferred maintenance. A lot of tenants, when they walk in there, if the space is trash, it's harder for them to picture their business in there versus when they walk in and it's a beautiful blank canvas where they can immediately picture their salon or their smoke shop or whatever it is in that center. So make sure it's clean and free of debris, and you handle the major mechanicals. It's a cost up front, and it hurts because you might not have a tenant yet for the space, but it's almost always worth it. Next, cost number 3 is TI, tenant improvement allowance. Now, this is one that landlords very rarely are willing to pay. And I love buying property from landlords that I'm not going to pay TI. I'm not going to pay leasing commissions. The tenant's supposed to pay me money. Why would I give them a check when they move in? Now, TI can come in, 2 forms, really. There is cash, where you say, once you're done with the build out, I'm going to give you a check for a portion or the cost of the build out, or you give them free rent. So those are the main 2 ways in which TI can come in, but it can be in many different ways. You tell them, hey, I'll do the work, I'll do X, Y, and Z, and you do the rest. Sometimes you say, hey, I'll do the complete build out for you. Just give me drawings of what you want the space to look like. Or it can be a combination of free rent plus maybe you do the HVAC and they do X, Y, and Z. So it can be a combination of the 2. Most of the time, TI is measured in a per square foot basis. So if someone has 2,500 square feet and you say, hey, I'm going to give you $2 per square foot in TI, you're going to give them $5,000. Now, there's not really a rule of thumb when it comes to TI. A lot of it has to do with what they're going to do with the space. If someone's going to take a shell space that doesn't have anything and they're going to turn it into a restaurant, they might require a large TI check to add a hood and an oven and all of this extra stuff they're going to need to add. And a lot of things can also come into effect. Like, are the bathrooms ADA compliant? If not, then the tenant's going to have trouble getting a certificate of occupancy. So one of the larger TI items might be making the restrooms ADA compliant. What's the condition of the floors and the HVAC, the plumbing? A lot of TI ends up being dependent on what the tenant is going to use the space for. So if the space used to be a salon and the new tenant that's moving in is going to use it as a salon, you might not have any TI because the space is already fairly built out for a salon. They're just going to go in and add their specific features and specific design for their business. But if it was a salon and it's turning into a restaurant, now there's a lot of work that needs to get done, and chances are they're going to ask you to cut a check or give them a longer free rent period so that they can finish their build out. So tenant improvement is huge, and a lot of landlords refuse to pay tenant improvements or refuse to give a long free rent period. In their heads, the tenant is supposed to be paying them every month. Why would I go and cut them a check? The reality is the value that is going to get added to the building by that tenant signing a lease is way bigger than any TI cost you're going to give them. So I love paying tenant improvements because it makes my building worth so much more by having that tenant in there versus the 10, 20, 50,000 I'm going to have to pay the tenant in order for them to build out the space for their use. That's tenant improvements. Cost number 4, leasing commission. So unlike apartments, typically when it comes to leasing a commercial space, retail, industrial, office, you're going to have a broker or an agent, a commercial leasing agent that's going to go and do all the showings and answer the call when it rings on LoopNet or Crexi or wherever you have it listed. Now you're going to have to pay this broker when they lease out the space. The typical cost is anywhere between 4 and 7% of the total lease amount. So what that means is if you have a 2,500 square foot space at $20 a square foot, so that's $50,000 per year that the tenant is going to pay you as the landlord. It's a 3-year lease, so that means the total rent collected is going to be $150,000. 4% of that is $6,000. 7% of that is $10,500. So you're going to pay the leasing broker anywhere from $6,000 to $10,500. The leasing commission is negotiable, but remember, you don't want to work with a crappier leasing agent just to save a few $1,000s when a good leasing agent can lease it out in 5 months rather than 10, because that lost revenue is going to make up for whatever you have to pay the broker in additional leasing commissions. A lot of landlords, especially like the legacy landlords that have owned the assets for a while, they also don't like to pay leasing commissions, or they're trying to lease it out themselves long distance, and they're not doing a very good job. So the two things that I love when I'm looking at a piece of real estate and I see vacancy, when a landlord's trying to lease it out themselves to save on leasing commissions and they're not doing a very good job on advertising it. And the second thing is the landlord refuses to pay leasing commissions. That's a clear indication to me that the landlord's not doing everything they can in order to fill the space up as quickly as possible. So as you can see here, the costs of leasing out a vacant commercial space are really starting to add up. So here's what one commercial space can cost you in order to fill up. First, you have lost rent. If it takes, let's say 8 months to lease up, then it's costing you $33,000 for that space. Plus, you're paying the expenses out of pocket, depending on what your triple net costs are, what percentage of the building that vacancy is, you're going to be paying that out of pocket. Next, you have repairs and cleanup. Now, depending on what condition the previous tenant left it in, you might run anywhere from just, a few $100s to clean the space up to tens and tens of thousands of dollars to, install an HVAC and clean up the floors and repair the walls and all that stuff. So it really depends on what condition the previous tenant left it in. Next is tenant improvements. Depending on, what use the new tenant is going to put in there compared to the previous use, you may have a decent amount of A, free rent, or B, TI, or a combination of the two, where you have to cut the tenant a check or give them several months free rent in order to make the space usable for their business. And then next is leasing commissions, anywhere from 4 to 6%, sometimes 7% of the total lease amount for that space. So it can cost you tens of thousands of dollars in order to lease a commercial space, which is a huge advantage for us as a value-add investor. We can buy a building in which the landlord is either unwilling or unable to pay the costs necessary to fill the vacancy. And sometimes for very large spaces, it can be a 6-figure check between, lost rent and leasing commissions and, carrying costs and unit cleanup. It can cost 6 figures in order to fill a vacancy. The reason people don't do it is, they're waiting for the perfect tenant. They don't have the cash. They don't want to offer TI. They just don't want to spend the money up front in order to get the space leased. As a result, the vacancy continues. They continue to lose rent. The NOI stays low because there's a vacancy, and the property stays in a distressed situation in which we love to pick it up and then pay the necessary costs. So why do we pay this cost? Why are we okay with paying this cost? Spending $50,000 can sometimes add over $500,000 to the value of the building, because the value of the building is NOI divided by cap rate. So if we're able to, back to our example, 2,500 square foot space, $20 a square foot, $50,000 a year in rent, by us spending $50,000 and we're able to get a tenant that's going to pay us $50,000 a year, the value of the building on an 8 cap increased by $625,000, because again, this $50,000 gets added to our net operating income once that unit gets filled. On an 8 cap, $625,000 in a better area, better tenant. If you're able to get a 7 cap, now the value of the building increased by $714,000. So you spend money cleaning up the space and leasing commissions and tenant improvements. Okay, so you're able to fill the vacancy by spending some money. The NOI goes up, and as a result, the value of the building skyrockets. So in many cases, like I said earlier, what we spend in leasing commissions, TIs, cleaning up the space, pales in comparison to the increase in the value of the piece of real estate. And that's the key that a lot of landlords aren't seeing. Like, oh, the tenant's going to pay me 50 grand a year. It's going to take me a year to recoup the costs I have to spend on the space. But what they don't realize is the value of the building is going to increase tenfold, more than tenfold, over the value, over the amount of money they have to spend on leasing out that space by increasing the NOI, which in return increases the value of the building. So it's quite simple. Vacancy is expensive, but not spending that money to lease out the space is even more expensive. So again, we buy property all the time from landlords that don't want to pay leasing commissions or TIs or don't want to spend money to fill the vacancy. And we're willing to go in and we'll spend that money to fill the vacancy up. And now the building is worth 6, sometimes 7 figures more because we're willing to spend the money to lease out the building and the previous landlord was not willing to do that. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys have a retail building, whether a shopping center, industrial building, an office building with vacancy, don't be afraid to spend some money on filling that vacancy, whether it's improving the space or getting a leasing broker or offering tenant improvement allowance, because typically in many cases, in most cases, that money you spend filling that vacancy is going to result in an increase in net operating income. And as a result, you're going to get paid back many, many times over when it comes to selling the asset and when it comes to getting that rent back through the monthly rent checks that the tenant is going to send you. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys want to stay in conversation, I have a link in the description below for the school community where we talk about specific deals we're buying, specific issues we're running into. You can also find, my website in the description below of the fund I run, in which we go out and we buy commercial real estate. And if you guys enjoy this type of content, be sure to like, subscribe as I document my journey to building a commercial real estate portfolio long distance and how we go out, we buy value add real estate, we clean it up. A lot of real estate, like we're seeing here with really heavy vacancy. We spend the money necessary to clean it up, and now we exit the building 3 to 5 years after we purchase it for significantly more than what we bought it for a couple years prior. Anyway, again, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Be sure to follow along, and I will find you guys on the next one.